Alright, what's up guys? With the release of the Legendary Duelist Magical Hero set, Dark Magician has gotten some insane support. We've personally opened quite a few boxes here on the channel. We've opened a grand total of 7 boxes. We pretty much pulled everything we need to play the brand new Dark Magician deck. The only thing is I'm going to have to CGI one of the fusion monsters in, but other than that, let's get started. I can't wait to do this deck profile. Dark Magician is just so incredibly interesting to play now. We've got 3 copies of the original Dark Magician. Gotta play 3. At first I was messing around with 2. Now you have to play 3. This card is just far too good not to play. It's I would say better than ever. It's not a brick at all. This is the beautiful thing about, like, Summon Skull in its own deck is a brick. Red Eyes in its own deck is a brick. This card is by no means a brick in the hand. Like, you always want to see a Dark Magician in your hand because it's just that good. There's so many cards that positively interact with it. It's an amazing card in your hand that is never a brick by any means. Then we play three of this brand new card, Magician's Soul. Oh my god, is this card. This card is so unbelievably good in this deck. Like, it's good in Spirals, and everyone's hyped about it, but this is so good in its original deck, because you can do, alright, effect number 1, you can send 2 spell and trap cards from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard, up to 2, and then draw that number of cards, which is an absolutely disgusting effect, because it can help you get rid of dead cards and then draw all new cards, basically for free. And then its other effect is that you can send this card, you can send a spellcaster to the graveyard that's level 6 or higher. So it's going to be like your Dark Magician Girl, your Mana, your regular Dark Magician, Palladium Oracle Mahad. You can send any of those basically any spellcaster that's level 6 or higher in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And then you can do one of 2 pretty insane effects. You can either special summon this card for free, or you can special summon a dark magician or a dark magician girl from your graveyard. And because the first effect is cost, meaning the effect to send the dark magician, is cost, you can actually special summon that same dark magician that you just sent to the graveyard. So it's absolutely insane, and you definitely got to play 3 of these bad boys. Insane card. I think it's absolutely disgusting, and it's definitely worth picking up. Next, we've got the Magician's Rod, literally the only normal summon in the entire deck. This is the only card that you normal summon, so you've got to play it. There's no better normal summon than this card in Dark Magician. When this card's normal summon, you get to search a spell or trap card that specifically lists Dark Magician in its name, which is a ton of cards and even more cards now that the new support has come out. And on top of that, when your opponent activates a spell and trap card, or when a spell and trap card is activated during your opponent's turn, you can tribute a spellcaster monster and add this card to your hand, which is pretty good because you can, like, get rid of your Dark Magician and then just bring it back with Eternal Soul and get this back to your hand for free to search another card the following turn. It's busted for that reason. And we play 3 copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician. This card is like Galaxy Soldier for the deck. So you discard a card and then special summon it. When you special summon it, you get to add a Dark Magician, which is amazing. And then on top of that, not only is it like Galaxy Soldier, it's also like an Honest for the deck, because you can send it from your hand or from the field to the graveyard to make a Dark Magician, gain 2,000 attack, which is pretty busted. Then we've got basically the Magician of Dark Illusion. It's just kind of like another copy of Dark Magician in a certain way. It's got decent effects because you can special summon it fairly easily. On top of that, you can sort of loop Dark Magicians from your graveyard. Definitely a very good card. And then my favorite of all of the Dark Magician cards, Palladium Oracle Mahad. You can finally play it very reliably in this deck because you can actually have a card that puts it on the top of your deck if you want to. And you can actually put it from anywhere to the top of your deck, hand, graveyard, or from from your deck, obviously from your deck to the top of your deck. But this card has always been really good because when you draw it, you automatically get to summon it. Unfortunately, it does miss timing, so if you try to draw it off of, for example, if you try to draw it off of like Allure of Darkness, it won't happen, but you have to draw it. This has to be the last thing to happen, basically. Otherwise, it misses timing. But with the new card, you can draw it for turn and summon it just like that. And we play 1 copy of Palladium Oracle Mana. This card is actually one of the better cards to send off of Magician's Soul. It's because if a spellcaster monster you control is targeted, you can special summon her from the graveyard, and then she protects all of your spellcasters level 7 or higher from getting destroyed. And when she's destroyed, you get to summon a Dark Magician basically from anywhere. So she actually has really good synergy with all of the new cards. I like that the new cards are actually including Dark Magician Girl. It's becoming a sort of more diverse playstyle. It's not just like 5 back row and a Dark Magician. It's actually including like Dark Magician Girl and stuff like that. It's really cool. It's a lot more like original, like Yugi's original deck. Then we play the Dark Magician Girl. I'm using this artwork. It's not, and like I usually just send off the really cool ones to PSA and stuff, but you can play any number of other artworks. I have the hollow version of that artwork here, and then of course we've got the uncensored artwork of the first one. That's something they need to do a Lost Art promo with. This one's not in the best shape, but definitely that's something that they could really use a Lost Art promo for. Beautiful artwork there. But those are the artworks that are some of my favorites. And then of course, that is all of the monsters in the deck. We can now move on to the spell cards. We've got 3 copies of Dark Magical Circle. This card is really good because it lets you fix the top of your deck. So again, it helps with the new fusion, and it helps with Palladium Oracle Mahad. It really helps you kind of fix what's on the top of your deck. And then on top of that, you can add a card that specifically lists Dark Magician to your hand, which is quite a few spell cards, including the new ones that I'm about to show. But on top of that, when this stays face up on the field, and every single time a Dark Magician is banished, or every single time a Dark Magician is normal or special summon, which is almost always going to be a special summon, you can banish a card on your opponent's side of the field, which is busted. Then we've got 3 copies of Soul Servant. This is one of the new cards. Really cool effect. Effect number 1, you can place a card on the top of your deck from your hand, deck, or graveyard. It's just a generically good effect. You can even use it in other decks if you really wanted to. And on top of that, it is a quick play. So you can set this activated during your opponent's turn, and then trigger the fusion monster, the brand new fusion monster, the what's it called again? I'm having a brain fart. The Dark Magicians. You can trigger Dark Magicians, and then the following turn you can use its graveyard effect, which is that you can banish this and then draw cards for every single Palladium, Dark Magician, or Dark Magician Girl card you have. You can draw up to like 3, 4, 5 cards, especially with all the Eternal Souls you have looping in and out. This is a really, really, really good card. I'm really glad this is a part of sort of the Dark Magician play set here. Then we've got a copy of Bond Between Teacher and Student. Basically, if you control a Dark Magician, you can special summon a Dark Magician Girl, and then set either a Dark Burning Magic, a Dark Magic Attack, or there's one card that I'm not playing in the deck, but you definitely can, which is, give me a second, Dark Burning Attack. So these all have interesting uses. This one, if you control a Dark Magician Girl and a Dark Magician, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. The middle one there is searchable with multiple cards, which is why I run it, even though they kind of have the same effect. And it's easier to get Dark Magician, the regular, on the field. So this destroys all spawn trap cards, this destroys all monsters. I only run these 2 because I think the other one is sort of redundant. But definitely the Dark Magic Attack is busted, and you can search it with Eternal Soul. So that's those. And then also we play a Dark Magic Inheritance, which lets you banish spells out of the graveyard, which doesn't matter because you play so damn many, it doesn't even matter, to add a spawn trap card from your deck to your hand that specifically lists Dark Magician. You'll see that text a lot that specifically lists Dark Magician. Then we play 1 copy of Secrets of Dark Magic. This is our fusion spell. You can actually ritual summon with this too, but it is our fusion spell, and you can actually activate it during your opponent's turn automatically, which is kind of cool. Because the Dark Magician's fusion monster actually allows you to do that. You can, if it's a quick play that you draw, you can activate it immediately. You can activate this and then fusion summon again. So this card's pretty cool for that. But yeah, it's our main fusion spell, and it is searchable with all of the various cards that I've showed you that have said, list Dark Magician. Play 1 copy of Illusion Magic. This lets you tribute a spellcaster. Could be a Dark Magician Girl. Could be anything. Could be one of the Dark Magician Soul that we summon that are kind of expendable once you put them on the field already. But yeah, you can tribute a spellcaster, and then you can add 2 copies of the Dark Magician. And actually, like I said before, Dark Magician in hand it's not a brick at all. I tell you, this is not a Summon Skull. This is not one of those cards that you don't want to see. The deck is built around it, so you do want to see it in your hand, in the graveyard, on the field, in your deck. You always want Dark Magician, which is why one of the reasons I really like this deck, because you always want to use it. We play 1 copy of Eye of Timaeus. This is our other fusion spell. I went for the versatility of the fusion spell, so I use a few different ones instead of using a few different fusion spells instead of using all of the same ones. But this one's cool because it lets you summon Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. It lets you summon Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight, and one pops cards on your opponent's side of the field, the other one protects your back row. Then we play 1 copy of Foolish Burial, just in case. Sometimes you want to get that Dark Magician in the graveyard quick, and if you didn't draw that Magician's Soul, it might be a little rough, so you want to get that Foolish Burial. And 1 copy of Magicalized Fusion. This card lets you basically fusion. It's like, if you've ever played Dragon's Mirror, it's like Dragon's Mirror for spellcasters. You can fusion summon a spellcaster fusion, and you can banish fusion materials on the field or in the graveyard as cost, which usually it's going to be in the graveyard, so it's going to be like a free fusion monster, basically. And it's great because you can summon a huge monster, you can summon the Dark Magicians, you can summon quite a few different things. Very good for that. Play 2 copies of Magician's Combination. This card is really cool. It's like seriously like unlimited negates. So when your opponent activates a card or effect, it's important. So it can, even if they activate a face up, a card that's already face up, you can still negate it, which is really cool. But basically, when they activate a card or effect, you contribute a Dark Magician or a Dark Magician Girl, and then special summon a Dark Magician or a Dark Magician Girl from your hand or graveyard, and negate the activation of that card. So that is pretty good, because you're not losing anything. This card's face up, you get to loop the 2 of them out, and then basically just negate something completely for free. The artwork's awesome. It's got a bunch of like Easter eggs on it. It's really cool. And then on top of that, when this card is destroyed, you can destroy 1 card on the field. So when this face-up card is destroyed, you can destroy 1 card on the field, which is a super, super cool effect. Because when your opponent finally gets sick of it and tries to get rid of it, you just punish them for it, which is really cool. Like, even if you don't have, like, the cool thing about this card is, like, since it's a face-up, since it's a continuous card, you don't actually have to use its effect to activate it. So, like, let's say your opponent activates Twin Twisters, targets this while it's set. You can flip it, leave it face up, not activate any effects, and then let it go through. And then when this gets destroyed, just pop one of your opponent's cards for no reason. It's really cool for that. Then we play 2 copies of Magician's Navigation. Again, this is one of the reasons you want Dark Magician in your hand, because this lets you special summon a Dark Magician from your hand, and then a level 7 or lower Dark spellcaster monster, which again, mana's a light, actually. It's not a dark, not mana, but you can summon Dark Magician Girl, you can summon the Apprentice Illusion, you can summon the Dark Illusionist, you can summon any of those, including another Dark Magician, from your deck. And then on top of that, during your opponent's turn, if they activate a spell or trap card, you can banish this card and then negate that, which is it's like a random graveyard negate. And a lot of people forget that it exists, and it kind of smacks people out of nowhere. Then we play 3 copies of Eternal Soul. This is sort of the heart and soul of the deck, because this allows you to special summon Dark Magicians endlessly. And you can tribute Dark Magicians, and it doesn't even matter, because you can always get them back over and over and over and over. And then on top of that, the other effect that it has is that it can add a Dark Magic attack. So you can basically summon a Dark Magician every single turn during your turn and during your opponent's turn. The drawback of this card is that when it gets popped, you have to destroy all of your monsters. It's not a huge drawback because you have counterplay to it, but it is a bit frustrating when that actually does go through. And they have, kind of put a lot of cards into the game that help play around that. And then we play 1 last copy, which is the Skill Drain. For the most part, you play a bunch of monsters that do absolutely nothing on the field. You play through your spell and trap cards, so Skill Drain will just destroy your opponent and allow you to win. So now let's move on to the extra deck. Like I said, very excited about this deck profile. Alright, so our first area of CGI, we play one copy of the Dark Magicians. This is the all-new monster available in this set, which is the Magical Heroes. I had to CGI this onto the screen because we opened 7 boxes and we didn't pull a single one of them. If you think about it, it's 7 boxes, 6 ultra rares per box, 7 times. So we pulled 42 ultra rares, and we didn't get a single copy of that card. And it's really frustrating because we thought we'd get at least one in there because we only needed one to play. And unfortunately, we spent tons of money, but we didn't get it. So this is gonna have to do. But yeah, I have it coming in the mail anyway. I think it was like $20. It's coming in soon, so I'm gonna get it. Quite ironically, the Magician's Soul is far more expensive than this card. But anyways, what does this card do? Why is it so difficult to get? So this card is insane because once per turn, if a spell or trap card is activated, this is either yours or your opponent's, you can draw a card, and then if it's a spell or trap card, you can either set it. So if it's a spell or trap card, you can set it. But if it's a quick play or a trap card, you can activate it immediately, which is super broken because it lets you activate trap cards during your turn immediately. So that's broken in itself. So you can like draw a skill drain, activate it immediately. You can do all types of stuff like that. You can draw Magician's Navigation, activate it immediately. So it's a pretty busted effect for that. Other than that, you have to keep in mind that the new support allows you, I'm talking about Soul Servant. Soul Servant allows you to set cards on the top of your deck so you know what's coming on the top of your deck. And on top of that, this interacts with Palladium Oracle Mahad, so you can draw and then automatically summon him. Like this has so much cool interaction with the deck. And on top of that, Dark Magical Circle allows you to fix the top of your deck, so you always know what is on the top of your deck. That's what's so cool about this card. On top of that, when this card is destroyed, it doesn't matter about battle or card effect, you can special summon a Dark Magician and a Dark Magician Girl from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Super cool. You get to basically get free resources right after and get all of your stuff back all over again. So I really like that card. All right, next, let's move on. We play a copy of Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. This is for Eye of Timaeus. If we happen to have Eye of Timaeus, we can use it with the Dark Magician Girl we have. Also Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. This is another good card. Protects all of your back row. Makes it really difficult to play. Quintet Magician. Basically, this is, if you've ever heard of Five-Headed Dragon, this is the Five-Headed Dragon of the Spellcasters. Basically, this card, yeah, it's like this is like the Five-Headed Dragon of the Spellcaster world. Its effect is just as lackluster as Five-Headed Dragons. Basically, it can't be distributed. It can't be destroyed by card effects, and it can't be tributed, and it can't be used as fusion material, meaning they can't super poly it, they can't destroy it by card effects, and they can't tribute it, and it has 4,500 attack, which is a ton of attack. And you can summon like Wee Witch and stuff and make it even more powerful. But yeah, it's a bunch of attack, and it's pretty difficult to get rid of. They can still target it, but I mean, they couldn't make this unbeatable. They have to give it some way of kind of being defeated. But it's still a very good card. It's a very good late game card with that magicalized fusion card that I showed you. A lot of times you'll have so many spellcasters in grave, you just flip this and bam, that's it. You have this monster. It's 4,500 attack. Maybe your opponent's just not ready to destroy or get rid of it, so it's very good for that. And it's very difficult to destroy this thing by battle. Let's just say it's not getting destroyed by battle. And then now we play the XYZs. We just play 2 copies of Ebon Illusion Magician. This card's very good because it helps you summon, banish stuff. It's very good. But yeah, incredibly good. Definitely better than Ebon High, which is more or less pointless. I don't even bother playing it. We play 1 copy of Mecha Phantom Beast Dracossack. Just a good level rank 7. Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. This helps you basically squeeze out the game sometimes. Sometimes the life points are a little close. Maybe you have your life point. You have your opponent down to 1,000 life points, and they have a full hand, and you're afraid that they might be able to do something. You just summon this, and they'll burn themselves to death. Link Karibo for our Magician's Soul, and then some random links: Appaloosa, Nightmare Unicorn, Borrelsword Dragon. Crowley is basically any 2 spellcasters, so he's good. He's generic. Wee Witch Apprentice, and Borrelode Dragon. The only other card that I would recommend that I couldn't find it, is the Blackluster Soldier Link monster. Also, you could just load this up with super polymerization targets. That works too. You didn't have to, you could do it that way too. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm very excited about this deck. I'm very excited about what it could do in the meta, and I guess, yeah, please, like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Definitely drop a comment about Dark Magicians, why you like it, why you ended up here. But yeah, thank you for watching.